So before this video gets started, if you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, or a gig worker for any of the platforms and you want paid time off, if you want sick leave, if you ever get into a car accident and you can't work, there's a brand new company that will give you paid time off. They'll replace your income of 80% of what your income is, and they'll give you same day cash transfers to your account. Use my link down below. You'll get your first 30 days for free as a gift. And now let's get on to the video. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name is Dylan. Thank you so much for coming by. This channel is all about being a better rideshare driver, and in today's video we're talking about the 20 of the worst mistakes that most Uber drivers make. So pretty much every single driver has made this mistake before, so I wanted to tell you, so if you're a new Uber driver or even an experienced one, so you don't make these mistakes too. So without further ado, these are the top 20 mistakes that Uber drivers make every day. So the first mistake that a lot of Uber drivers make is they sign up without a referral code. So Uber did recently pause their referral program because of the illness. Can't say that word because of YouTube. But basically they paused the referral program, but they brought it back. So, and a lot of drivers don't know that, so they're signing up with no referral code. We still have links, guys, for both Uber and Lyft, by the way, as well. So sign up with a referral code so you can get that guaranteed amount or bonus. It could be up to $2,000. The second mistake that a lot of drivers make is that they don't sign up for Cover. Cover is a really inexpensive way to get covered just in case you get into an accident, just in case you get temporarily deactivated or you get hospitalized and you have no income. What are you going to do when your car's in the shop? Cover replaces your income. A lot of drivers don't sign up for it. They don't think it's worth it, but do the math on it. If you're a full-time driver, I would say it's worth it. If you're a part-time driver, it's probably not worth it for that, but you know, check it out. If you use our link, 30 days for free. The third mistake that a lot of Uber drivers make is they don't utilize these apps and companies that pay drivers to use their products. There's like, at this point, there's like 20 companies that have launched that are literally, their main market is using Uber drivers. They pay Uber drivers to promote their service. Play Octopus, great example. They're an advertising company and they thought, well, let's advertise to rideshare passengers. So literally their entire business model is paying Uber drivers to put a tablet in their car. Without Uber and Lyft drivers, they don't exist. So they pay drivers up to $100 a month to have a tablet in their car. Send them a free tablet, right? There's another one called Stereo. They literally pay rideshare drivers to play music. They promote small artists. That's it. So there's so many of them. I'm not going to get into all of them, but a big mistake is not doing your research and not finding ways, because sure, you can be an Uber driver and go out and make $20 an hour, but you could also be using other apps that pay you on top of that. So check out the links down below. I'll just leave a list of all of those different ways that you can make more money as a driver. Don't make that mistake. Get your money. Mistake number 4. This one is a personal favorite of mine, I guess, if you want to call it. I usually say this is the number 1 most important mistake that most drivers make. Whenever I talk to new drivers and they ask me, Dylan, you know, do you have any advice for me? I always tell them this one: don't make this mistake. And ironically, most drivers make this mistake, 99% of drivers, but they don't keep their doors locked when they're picking up passengers. Right now, it's more important than ever to keep your doors locked when you're picking up passengers. Why? Because you could easily just let anybody inside your car, and you could be the wrong passenger. Somebody could try to be scamming you, hurt you. So you always want to keep your doors locked. Pull up to the passenger, say, hey, are you here for an Uber? Hey, what's your name? Make them tell you their name, so you never assume you have the correct passenger. I've canceled on so many passengers, and this is one of the reasons why I keep my rideshare driving experience super safe, is because I always keep my doors locked. And I tell my buddies, I don't know how old you are, what your lingo is, if you understand this term, but I call them, I suss out my passenger during this process. I pull up, keep my door locked, roll the window down, I say, hey, what's your name? If they're already being mean to me, rude to me, I just cancel and move on. If they're really drunk and they're stumbling, I cancel, move on. I don't just let them in my car. Never, ever. So that's mistake number 4 is not keeping your doors locked and letting in people. Mistake number 5, I already touched on this, but they don't ask their passenger's name at pickup. You never want to assume if let's say your passenger's name is Rebecca, you never want to say, hey, are you Rebecca? Most of them, especially if they're intoxicated, whatever. I know a lot of bars are still closed in a lot of areas, but whatever it might be, a lot of people will just say yes. I picked up one dude, it was even in a gated community, and I was trying to pick up a woman. And if you're an Uber driver or Lyft driver, you know that you follow the pin. There's a pin of the pickup location, and then they also have a pin of where the passenger is. So I usually am looking where the passenger is. Well, there was none. It was like a woman ordered a ride for her husband or her ex-boyfriend or whatever. He had a dog. He wanted to get in my car. He was super mean to me. I had my doors locked, luckily. Followed that tip. I had my doors locked. I was like, hey, what's your name? He was like, my name's Billy. And I was like, sorry, I'm not looking for a Billy. And he's like, no, this is my ride. My girlfriend called it for me, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, he was like being mean to me. And he was trying to open my door, and he had a dog with him. I'm like, dude, I don't want your dog in my car, and I don't frankly want you in my car. I was like, you're not my passenger. He was like, what's the name for? I'm like, I'm not telling you, bro. This is like a big safety one, but also just saves you a headache. And again, you can still suss out your passengers through that as well. Always ask them what their name is. Mistake number 6, now we're moving on to financially. A big mistake that a lot of people make is that they quit their job to do Uber and Lyft driving. They are working a job, they hate their job, they don't like their job, they want to change, and they see an ad on Craigslist or whatever, and they go, oh, make $30 an hour being an Uber driver. And they go, oh, sweet. Hey, boss, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm becoming a full-time Uber driver. They drive Uber for 3 weeks, and their car breaks down, and now they're stuck with no job. I would be very, very hesitant to tell somebody to quit their job and become a full-time Uber driver. If you have no job, sure, it could be a great way to make full-time income while you're looking for another job. I always say, start part-time, and then if you really want to do it full-time for a bit, do it full-time. I have never heard of many cases of people being successful doing Uber full-time for a long period of time. The best cases I've heard of, and this was me, one of the cases, is doing rideshare full-time for a short amount of time. So do it for 3 months, get ahead on your payments, whatever, then move on. Maybe use it as a side hustle afterwards. If you need to do full-time for a year, maybe you need to move and you don't have a job lined up, sure, that could be great, but I would be very hesitant to say quitting your job and doing rideshare full-time. All right, mistake number 7 is a lot of drivers will rent a car for driving rideshare, either Uber or Lyft. Uber and Lyft both have car rental programs. A lot of people will sign up for them and only drive part-time. Now, if you know going into it that if this actually is good if you have no car and you just need a car and you're going to drive 1 or 2 days a week and have a free car, that's fine. But people who are trying to make a profit, if you're renting a car, you're going to be paying, almost $200 a week for that car. And the benefits are you don't pay maintenance and wear and tear and depreciation in your car. That's amazing, trust me. That's great. But at the same time, if you're trying to make a profit and make a living off of having a rental car doing rideshare, you're going to have to be putting in long hour weeks, 40 hours minimum to, make a good amount. I've talked to a lot of drivers who are like, oh, the car rental program sucks, most of my money I make is just going to pay the car. I'm like, how much are you driving? They're like, I'm driving almost every day. I'm like, well, how long do you drive? They're like, 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna need to put in like 8-hour days to make a good profit if you're using a rental car. Number 8, this is a big mistake, and I'm sure a lot of you guys might have something to say about this, but I'm very conservative with depreciating assets. I think it's pretty foolish to go out and finance a car for Uber and Lyft. If you can't afford the car, I know so many of you guys watching this probably drive 20 brand new cars for Uber and Lyft, but going out and financing a $30,000 car and thinking, oh, I'll cover the car payment driving Uber, you're gonna end up upside down in your car loan. You're gonna put on too many miles in your car's gonna depreciate. So I always recommend buying an affordable car. This car right here, sure, I don't get a lot of, it's not a big head turner. People turn their heads to look at me, not on this car. No, but this car, this is a $5,000 car. This is a good example. I bought it with 100,000 miles on it. Cheap, still reliable, affordable though. It's not a brand new car though, and I actually did finance it, but I paid it off really quick. But I mean, sure, financing a $5,000 car, $10,000 car, that's probably okay. But going and financing a $30,000, I mean, even a $25,000 car, you guys know at dealerships, after all the fees and everything, it's gonna be in taxes, 30 grand. I don't recommend doing that. Try to shop around, go on Facebook Marketplace, go on Craigslist, lowball a bunch of people, have a friend who's a mechanic, take the car to a mechanic, have them check it out, make sure it looks all good, something around 100,000 miles. You could probably get a really good deal for like 5,000 bucks. And you can still finance a car that you buy off Craigslist. Just go to your bank and tell them the situation. Okay, mistake number 9 is that a lot of drivers don't use a retroactive referral code. Mistake number 10 is a lot of drivers don't utilize both apps. I'm talking about Uber and Lyft. If you're a rideshare driver, might as well use both apps. Why? Because if you're finding that you're spending time waiting for rides in between rides, that's time wasted where you could be taking passengers on the other app. So the way that you do this is, say you're driving for Uber, you have both apps on, right? Get a ride request from one, turn the other app off, and then do that ride until you have no more rides, because it'll probably automatically queue up. Once you're done waiting for the rides, turn both apps on again. And so this will minimize the time that you wait in between rides, and you can just utilize both apps at the same time. Mistake number 11, this one is a legal one. A lot of drivers pick up unaccompanied minors. You are legally not allowed to pick up anybody under 18 if they're by themselves. The reason for this is because you don't have the license to. Uber and Lyft do not permit you to do that. If you get into an accident and you have somebody in your car who's under 18, you will be fully held responsible for it. You could lose your license, you will get deactivated, and you probably will have to pay for the accident out of your own pocket. Your insurance won't even cover it. So because you're violating Uber and Lyft's terms of service, which would otherwise cover you in that accident, you could also get a ticket for it. Yeah, you just don't want to do it. Do not pick up unaccompanied minors. It's actually illegal, so don't do it. Number 12, the next one, is picking up babies or toddlers. So a lot of times, actually, you'll get people who bring in their babies or toddlers, and they'll just say, oh, I'll just hold them in my lap. Can't do that. You need to have a booster seat or a car seat for toddlers and babies. This is also a legal thing too. This is actually illegal outside of Uber and Lyft. Just as a driver, every child or baby needs to be in a booster seat or car seat. I know some people purchase their own car seats and booster seats. I don't really recommend doing that just because, I don't know, I always think of the worst if I think that my car seat, I don't know, it doesn't work or whatever. I don't want to be held responsible for anything. So the way I do it is, if anybody comes in and they don't have a car seat, I just say, hey, sorry, I can't take you, and move on. It's simple as that. Mistake number 13, a lot of people make this mistake, is they drive around looking for rides. I did this for a while. After you drop off a passenger, you're like, Well, shoot, I'm not getting a ride request. I might as well drive around and look for rides. Sure, if you're in the middle of nowhere, go drive to a busier area, fine. But most of the time, you'll get a ride eventually. Just stay where you are, especially if you're already in a somewhat busy area. Don't put miles on your car that you're not getting paid for. You don't want to do that. You're just putting miles in your car, wasting gas, wasting wear and tear. It's, every single mile in your car, the IRS estimates that it's 57.5 cents of an expense that you put on your car. That's 2020. So just think about it. If you're driving around looking for rides, you just drove around 10 miles looking for a ride, you just spent $5.75 on your car, just in wear and tear. Just don't drive around looking for rides. The rides will come, trust me. And if you drive around looking for rides, you could possibly be driving away from passengers. So it just doesn't mathematically make sense unless you're literally in the middle of nowhere. Mistake number 14, again, this is a legal one. You legally cannot take cash for a ride under any circumstance. If somebody offers you cash, they say, here's 50 bucks, here's 20 bucks. Can you drive me? I don't have money on my credit card or something. It's actually illegal to do that. The reason is, it's kind of complicated, but essentially, I'll try to keep it brief, is that you as a driver, you on your driver's license, when you go to the DMV, you are getting a license to drive. You're not getting a license to transport people for money. That's not what, you don't have the ability to do that. However, with Uber and Lyft, they have the proper licenses to ensure that a driver can do that, right? You're doing rides on their platform. Now, when you're taking cash for a ride, you're no longer on Uber and Lyft's platform. You're operating outside of the platform. So your personal license, you're operating illegally under that, under the DMV. You have no insurance because your insurance provider is not covering it. Uber and Lyft's insurance provider doesn't cover it. It's also illegal, so you could lose your license. You could also get deactivated by Uber and Lyft because they say you can't take the cash rides. And if you get into an accident, again, you have no insurance. That's coming out of your pocket. If you crash into somebody, first of all, the person in the back seat can sue you because it's not under Uber and Lyft anymore. But secondly, no insurance is going to cover that accident. You're literally probably going to have to take out a loan to cover that. And you could lose your license. So don't risk any of that stuff. Don't take cash rides. It's not worth it at all. And it's just sketchy. Oh yeah, safety too. It's a safety hazard. Because usually Uber and Lyft tracks every ride. It's on the GPS and everything. On a cash ride, it's not at all. So you don't know who that person is. Just don't ever take a cash ride. Number 15. This is a big mistake. It's actually really important, but a lot of drivers don't take enough breaks. They don't get enough sleep. They're, driving all day, all night till 3, 4 a.m., barely getting enough sleep, and they're driving drowsy. Guys, it's really important to get enough sleep. I say this because when you're driving for rideshare, you're driving a lot in your car, like sometimes 8 hours at a time. That's statistically a very dangerous activity to be spending that much amount of time driving around. So being a rideshare driver is a dangerous activity. The more time you spend in your car, the more time you're at risk of being in an accident. And that risk goes exponentially increases the more tired you are. There was a study that said that drowsy driving was actually one of the leading causes of accidents, right up there with drunk driving. And sometimes in more cases, even more people fell asleep behind the wheel. And one of the reasons because of that is because of this thing, phones. A lot of people stay up late at night looking at their phone, watching TV. They don't get proper sleep. It's called sleep deprivation. This is basically what I'm trying to say. Don't drive sleep deprived. You'll end up drowsy driving. That's the term, actually the scientific term they call it is drowsy driving. That's really dangerous. So basically I'm trying to say is make sure you're taking rests. Take a 15-minute walk after every couple hours. Make sure you get 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep, 10, I don't know how many hours of sleep you need, but you know your body, whatever you need to make yourself feel rested. If it's 2 a.m. and you're feeling sleepy, just turn the app off and go home. It's not worth risking getting into an accident. Mistake number 16, a lot of drivers drive dangerously and break traffic laws. They think that, oh, it's a right turn only, but I really need to get to my passenger. I'll just turn left. Or, it's a yellow light. I probably can't make it, but hey, I really need to get to my passenger. I need the money. And they just speed and drive and break tons of traffic laws. And they just speed and drive and break tons of traffic laws. Don't do that. Trust me, your passenger won't care if you get to their pickup 1 minute later. You're really not going to make that much more money if you get there 30 seconds faster. Drive safely, more smoothly. Treat your car better. Your car actually performs better long term when you drive safely, cautiously, and you'll get more tips for it too. Your passengers will enjoy it more. Number 17, another mistake that a lot of drivers make. I say this because a lot of times I say a lot of drivers make is because I've taken hundreds of rides as a passenger, so I know how most drivers behave. This mistake, most drivers actually don't greet you when you get into the car. They don't smile at you and greet you when you get in. Usually you get in and they just start driving, or they might say hi, or they might even say Dylan, and you'll be like, yeah. And when you get a passenger who goes, hey, how are you today? You're like, and they're smiling at you, it feels refreshing. And I always make sure to leave them a bigger tip. And I know a lot of passengers do this too, because I've tested it out. I've gone days where I greeted every single passenger with a big smile, and it helps a lot and just spreads more positive vibes, which helps you as a driver be more mentally stable, mentally positive throughout your day as well. Mistake number 18. This is like a simple one that a lot of drivers just neglect, is that they keep their car dirty and smelly. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into cars, Uber and Lyft cars, and the car smells. It reeks. It smells like food. It smells like body odor. It smells gross. It smells like sweat. It smells like really, really overly strong cologne, perfume, whatever it is. Dirty, just gross, musty. I don't know what it is, but literally I felt like there was a time where every single car I got into smelled horrible. It's a really easy thing to do. Just clean out your car, disinfect your car, just wipe it down, keep your car clean. Get your car detailed every couple months, the inside. Yeah, that's just a big mistake a lot of drivers make. I'm just telling you this because I know it from firsthand experience. A lot of drivers' cars smell bad. Don't be that driver. It's gross. Your passengers are literally counting the seconds until they can get out. Okay, number 19, we're almost done. This is another really important one. We're getting to the more important ones now. But a lot of drivers talk way too much. I don't know what it is, but if you've ever taken Uber and Lyft as a passenger, it's an ongoing joke that the driver just really wants to talk to you. I can't count the number of times where I've gotten in. I used to take Uber Pool all the time and Lyft Shared. And the driver's like asking out my passenger in the middle of the ride. Oh, what are you doing tonight? Oh, what party are you going to? Oh, what are you doing afterwards? You want to hang out? Like, bro, just don't talk. And a lot of times I've had drivers talking to me about one time they almost got kidnapped and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to go to my destination. I don't even want to talk. I'm usually in a kind of a bad mood when I get in the car. If you want to talk to me, sure. If I happen to be in a mood where I want to talk, great. But I don't want you to hear you talking about some story that has nothing to do with anything. It's annoying. I'm sorry. But just don't be one of those drivers who just talks their passengers' ears off. And again, it's fine to say, hey, how are you? How's your day going? And you'll notice if the passenger wants to talk, they will respond to that question with, oh, it's going great. You know, I did X, Y, and Z today. How's your day going, sir? They're usually way upfront about it. But if they're just like, oh, I'm doing pretty good, thanks for asking, they don't want to talk. Don't push the conversation. Okay, and mistake number 20. This is a mistake that a select few of drivers make. That's the last one. But a lot of drivers invest too much stuff. They buy too much stuff for their passengers. Look, I get it. You want to be a great driver. You want to get good tips and ratings. You want to get all the best snacks for your passengers. You want to get hand sanitizer in your car. You want to get extra wipes. You want to put a little trash can in the back seat. You want little candies, goodies. You want to give them free water bottles. Look, all that stuff you don't need to do. Just focus on being a friendly, nice, and safe driver, and that's about it. You don't need to make it too difficult. And yes, I talk about these mistakes. Most drivers are just going to continue to go out and make these mistakes, right? But this video is for the drivers who want to go above and beyond and have the best experience. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Again, if you want paid time off as an Uber driver, Lyft driver, gig worker, sign up for Cover. If you use my link down below, you'll get 30 days for free. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.